Ladies and gentlemen, success in relationships doesn't come from one grand moment. It's built brick by brick in the small, consistent choices we make every single day. And just like in business or personal growth, there is a blueprint, a daily structure that can transform not only your relationships, but your entire life. Starting with self-discipline is the foundation of every successful relationship, and it is often the most overlooked step. Most people want love, respect, and understanding from others, yet they fail to realize that the quality of the connections we build on the outside is directly shaped by the discipline we practice on the inside. Every relationship is like a mirror. It reflects the habits, energy, and mindset we bring into it. If we wake up each day with no structure, reacting to life instead of leading it, we are unknowingly creating instability, not just for ourselves, but for those we care about. Self-discipline begins the moment you open your eyes in the morning. The first few actions you take set the tone for how you will communicate, respond, and handle challenges in your relationships. If you start your day scrolling through negativity, rushing through your routine, and carrying unresolved emotions from yesterday, you will transfer that same restlessness to your partner, friends, or family. But when you begin with clarity, whether through a morning walk, a few minutes of silence, or a focused plan for your day, you create emotional stability. That stability is felt by everyone around you, even without words. Think about this. When you are disciplined in your time, you naturally become more present. You are not constantly running late, which avoids unnecessary tension. When you are disciplined in your health, you have more energy to contribute, more patience to handle disagreements, and more confidence that naturally makes you more attractive, not just physically, but emotionally. When you are disciplined in your mindset, you stop letting small frustrations control you, which prevents unnecessary arguments. Self-discipline also teaches you to respond instead of react. In relationships, conflicts are inevitable, but the way you handle them decides whether you grow stronger or drift apart. Without discipline, you speak in the heat of the moment, you say things you don't truly mean, and you damage trust. But with discipline, you can take a pause, control your emotions, and choose words that solve problems instead of creating new ones. Another important part of self-discipline is consistency. People feel secure when they know what to expect from you. If your mood changes every day, if your promises are not kept, if your actions are unpredictable, you make the relationship feel unstable. But when you are disciplined enough to show up every day with honesty, reliability, and effort, you build a bond where the other person feels safe and valued. Discipline also involves keeping your personal growth a priority. You cannot give from an empty cup. A disciplined person knows that working on their career, learning new skills, taking care of health, and nurturing passions are not selfish acts. They are necessary to bring the best version of yourself into the relationship. Without self-growth, relationships stagnate because there is nothing new to share, nothing to inspire, nothing to look forward to. Even in love, discipline matters. Love is a feeling, but maintaining love is a choice, and that choice requires daily effort. Discipline helps you keep that effort alive, to check in on your partner's needs, to remember important details, to manage your own emotions so you don't take out unrelated frustrations on them.
At its core, self-discipline is respect. Respect for your own time, health, and values, which naturally translates into respect for the other person. And when both people in a relationship commit to personal discipline, the relationship becomes a partnership where growth is shared, challenges are faced with unity, and the connection only deepens over time.
If you want relationships that last, start by mastering yourself. Because when you lead yourself with discipline, you lead your relationships towards stability, trust, and success. Listening more than you speak is one of the most powerful skills you can develop for building strong and lasting relationships. Yet, in today's world, genuine listening has become rare. We live in a time where people hear words, but they don't truly listen. Many are simply waiting for their turn to speak, eager to respond with their own opinions, stories, or solutions. The problem with this is that it turns conversations into competitions rather than connections. Relationships thrive when both people feel heard, understood, and valued, and that can only happen when listening becomes a daily habit. Listening is not just about staying silent while the other person talks. It is about being fully present. That means putting down your phone, turning off distractions, and giving your complete attention to the person in front of you. When you listen with your eyes, your body language, and your heart, you communicate something far deeper than words. You say, "You matter to me. Your thoughts are important." That kind of attention builds trust, and trust is the foundation of every meaningful connection. When you choose to listen more than you speak, you begin to notice the unspoken parts of a conversation, the tone, the pauses, the emotions hiding between the words. Many conflicts in relationships are not about the actual topic being discussed. They are about deeper feelings, fears, or insecurities. By listening carefully, you give yourself the chance to understand those deeper truths before jumping to conclusions or offering solutions. Too often misunderstandings happen because people assume they already know what the other person is going to say. They interrupt, cut off, or change the topic before the speaker has fully expressed themselves. This creates frustration and distance. When you discipline yourself to truly listen, to let the other person finish their thoughts, you reduce misunderstandings and make the other person feel respected. And respect is one of the most powerful currencies in a relationship. Listening also requires humility. It means accepting that you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, that you don't always have to win the argument, and that sometimes understanding is more important than being right. When you focus on listening, you shift the conversation from a battle of egos to a bridge of empathy. This shift changes the entire dynamic of a relationship, replacing tension with connection. Another overlooked aspect of listening is that it teaches you patience. In relationships, not every problem needs to be solved immediately. Sometimes the person you care about just needs to express themselves, to let out their emotions without fear of being judged or fixed. When you rush to give advice or solve the problem, you might think you're helping, but often you are shutting down the emotional process the other person needs to go through. By listening patiently, you allow them to feel supported, which in turn makes them more open to your perspective when the time is right. Listening more than you speak also deepens emotional intimacy. The more you understand someone, their fears, dreams, triggers, and values, the stronger your connection becomes. And this understanding can only be gained through attentive listening over time. People open up more when they feel safe, and feeling safe comes from knowing they won't be interrupted, judged, or dismissed. When you make listening a daily discipline, you also learn more about yourself. You start noticing your own impulses, their urge to interrupt, the need to defend yourself, the desire to be right. This awareness helps you grow emotionally and become a better communicator, not just in romantic relationships, but in every area of life. In the end, listening is not a passive act, it is an investment. Every time you truly listen, you deposit trust, respect, and love into the relationship. Over time, these small investments grow into a deep, unshakable bond. And when both people commit to listening more than they speak, the relationship becomes a safe space where both voices matter and both hearts are understood. Consistent appreciation is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to strengthen a relationship, but it's also one of the most neglected. Many people believe love and care are only proven through big gestures, surprise trips, expensive gifts, or dramatic acts. While those moments can be exciting, they are rare. Relationships are lived in the everyday moments, and it's in those small daily acts of acknowledgement that love truly grows. Without regular appreciation, even the strongest bonds can weaken because people begin to feel unseen, undervalued, or taken for granted. Appreciation is not just about saying thank you when someone does something for you. It's about recognizing their efforts, their presence, and their importance in your life. It's about letting them know that you notice not only the big things they do, but also the little things they think no one sees. For example, noticing when your partner makes the bed, brings you water without asking, or remember something you mentioned days ago. These may seem small, but they represent care and attention. A few simple words of appreciation can make someone feel that their effort matters and that they matter. Many relationships begin with plenty of appreciation, but over time, familiarity replaces effort. People stop saying thank you for things they've come to expect. They stop complimenting each other's strengths because they assume the other person already knows. But just like plants need regular water, relationships need regular acknowledgement to stay alive. Without it, the connection slowly dries up, replaced by routine and emotional distance. Consistent appreciation also builds emotional safety. When someone feels valued every day, they are more open to sharing their thoughts, taking risks in communication, and being vulnerable. They know they are seen for who they are, not just for what they provide. This kind of environment strengthens trust and reduces the fear of rejection or judgment. It's important to understand that appreciation must be genuine. Empty or false praise has no impact. Real appreciation comes from paying attention, from truly observing the other person's contributions and expressing gratitude for them in a way that feels personal and sincere. This requires mindfulness. If you are always rushing through your day, you might overlook these moments. But when you slow down and notice, you create more opportunities to express gratitude.
Another powerful aspect of appreciation is that it shifts your own mindset. When you make a habit of looking for things to be grateful for in your relationship, you naturally focus on the positives rather than the negatives. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but it prevents you from falling into the trap of only noticing what's missing or what's wrong. Over time, this positive focus makes you a more uplifting and supportive partner, which in turn inspires the same behavior from the other person.
Appreciation is also contagious. When you regularly express gratitude, the other person is more likely to reciprocate. This creates a cycle of mutual respect and acknowledgement where both people feel seen and valued. And when both partners feel appreciated, they are more motivated to put in effort, to be kind, and to work through challenges together. It's worth remembering that appreciation is not limited to words. Sometimes it's a warm smile, a gentle touch, an unexpected act of kindness, or simply making time for someone despite a busy schedule. These nonverbal gestures can speak just as loudly as any thank you. The key is to be consistent because the power of appreciation comes not from its size, but from its frequency. In the end, consistent appreciation is about keeping the relationship alive every single day. It's about refusing to let love fade into the background and instead making it a daily practice to say, I see you, I value you, and I'm glad you're here. When you make this part of your daily blueprint, you not only nurture the bond you share, but you also create a relationship where both people feel truly cherished. Protecting your peace is not about being selfish or distant. It's about maintaining the emotional balance and mental clarity you need to keep your relationships healthy. Too often people give so much of themselves to others that they end up drained, resentful, or burnt out. When you constantly say yes to every request, react to every comment, or involve yourself in every conflict, you lose the ability to think clearly and respond with love and patience. Relationships cannot thrive when one or both people are constantly exhausted or overwhelmed. Protecting your peace is about setting boundaries that allow you to give without losing yourself.
Boundaries are not walls meant to push people away. They are lines that define what is acceptable and what is not. They teach others how to treat you and ensure that your kindness is not taken for granted. When you fail to set boundaries, you send the message that your time, energy, and feelings are always available for others to use, even at the expense of your own well-being. Over time, this leads to frustration, tension, and sometimes even the breakdown of the relationship.
Protecting your peace starts with self-awareness. You need to know what triggers your stress, what drains your energy, and what behaviors make you feel disrespected or uncomfortable. Once you are clear about these, you can communicate them calmly and firmly. For example, if constant interruptions while you're working make you feel irritated, explain to your partner or loved ones that you need focused time and will respond once you are done. This is not about shutting them out, it's about making sure that when you do connect, you can be fully present. A big part of protecting your peace is learning not to react to everything. In relationships, disagreements and differences of opinion are natural, but not every comment or behavior requires your response. Sometimes silence is more powerful than an argument. Choosing your battles wisely prevents unnecessary tension and keeps the relationship from being weighed down by minor issues. Another element of peace is time for yourself. Many people feel guilty for wanting space in a relationship, but personal time is not a sign of disconnection. It's a sign of self-care. Taking time to recharge, pursue your interests, or simply enjoy solitude helps you return to your relationship with more patience, energy, and love. Without that personal space, you risk losing your sense of individuality, which can lead to resentment over time. Protecting your peace also means surrounding yourself with positivity. If your environment is full of negativity, gossip, or constant complaints, it will eventually affect the way you think and behave. In a relationship, this might mean agreeing not to speak in hurtful ways during arguments or avoiding conversations that spiral into unnecessary drama. Peace thrives in an atmosphere of respect and understanding, not constant tension. It's also important to protect your peace by managing your own emotions. You cannot control what others say or do, but you can control how you respond. Practicing patience, deep breathing, or even stepping away from a heated moment can prevent words or actions you might later regret. The more control you have over your own reactions, the more stable and safe the relationship will feel. Ultimately, protecting your peace is about ensuring that love and respect flow in both directions. When you honor your own needs and maintain emotional balance, you set a powerful example for the other person. You show them that it's possible to care deeply for someone without losing yourself in the process. This balance creates relationships that are not only loving but also sustainable, where both people feel free, respected, and emotionally secure. In the end, success in relationships is not built on luck or grand gestures. It's built on daily habits that shape how we show up for ourselves and for each other. When you begin with self-discipline, you bring stability and clarity into the connection. When you listen more than you speak, you create trust and understanding. When you practice consistent appreciation, you remind the other person that they are valued and loved. And when you protect your peace, you ensure that the relationship remains healthy, balanced, and free from unnecessary chaos.
These are not one-time actions, they are choices we must make every single day. The beauty of this blueprint is that it works for every kind of relationship, romantic, family, friendship, or professional, because at the core, all relationships are built on respect, care, and consistency. If you commit to these principles daily, you won't just maintain your relationships, you will make them stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling than ever before.
Because true success starts here, in the quiet, intentional actions you take today that build the love, trust, and harmony you will enjoy for years to come.